Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu, Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So as always, we will continue first with the letter in the alphabet. Today we have the letter. It's not so much a letter as a sound that we add to a letter, but we pronounce it as, I don't think they can see this. No. Maybe now. So this is an A with a dot on top. And this is used to create a so-called nasal sound, a sound that has a sort of a vibration through the nose. So Shankara, this is this or Aham Vaishvanaro. It goes through the nose. That's why it is called an Anunasika, something that goes according to the nose. And this sound is also the last sound in the letter Om. Thus it is a very special sound. We say that this vibration, it's called nada. This vibration is all pervading, even through our subtle body, even at the very deepest level of our being, this sound is present. This is what our scriptures say, our shastras. And that in deep meditation, a yogi can hear this sound as a vibration from within, deepest vibration, and that by listening to this sound, one goes into a deep state of meditative concentration, which is known as samadhi. Other meanings of this sound are nectar. It has the meaning nectar, or it can also mean shashi, or the moon, which is the moon. Another meaning is Shambhu. Shambhu is a name of Shiva, which means the bringer of joy, the bringer of happiness, the one who brings auspiciousness. Another meaning is Priti. Priti is a joyful delight, very special kind of delight is Priti. It is also like a delight that is related to love. The word prema and Priti are related, but Priti is this very special kind of joy that comes with the feeling of love. It is also the kind of joy that is experienced when we sit very deeply in meditation. The Buddha taught different levels of meditation, and the first one is called the first dhyana. And when one attains this level of concentration, then he says, Priti arises in our whole being, in our physical body, in our heart, in our mind. Priti arises. And the sound represents Priti. It also means consciousness, cetana. It is deeply related to nada, that very fundamental sound which I have mentioned, because that fundament of all experience, of all thoughts, emotions, all the things we go through in life is actually consciousness. So Cetana and Nada are very close together. And thus, another meaning is Purna. Purna means complete, perfect, whole. That which is the whole. Consciousness contains everything. All our experiences as a human being take place within consciousness. Thus, consciousness is the whole. It is like the vessel in which everything takes place. And by meditating on this sound at the end of Om, this deep vibration, our suffering, our troubles are removed. That is why it is also called Dukkhahara, that which removes suffering, that which removes our worries. It also means the full moon, Purnima, because the full moon is that aspect of the moon which represents wholeness, completion. I won't cover all the meanings, but just a few more. It also means space, all-pervading space, because that fundamental vibration, which is all-pervading, is space itself, the deepest aspect of space. And thus, it is also Shunya. Shunya means absolutely empty. Shunya and Purna, absolutely empty and absolutely full, are actually the same. They are like these two sides of a coin. They always go together. Only that which is absolutely empty can also be absolutely full. Absolutely empty, when our mind becomes absolutely empty of all experiences, then it is our true nature. Then it is the absolute. And that is also all full. These are very beautiful meanings. We could spend hours and hours discussing them. And then the last one is Vichitra. That means wonderful, but it also means having all the different colors, multicolored. So this fundamental sound contains all the colors, like a crystal in which all the different colors can appear. Thus I've given you a few meanings of
Acharyaji, Vichitra means wonderful, or is it like strange?
Vichitra means, in Sanskrit it means mainly wonderful, in a positive sense. Like it has the sense of something positive, because multicolored, chitra means color or appearance, like a painting, and vichitra means having special appearances, special colors. But I understand, of course, that in Hindi and Marathi and other languages, vichitra has taken on a slightly different meaning, right? It has now taken on the meaning of strange. So, and maybe that meaning can also be found in Sanskrit, but it is more something very special and awesome in Sanskrit. Vichitramidamakhyatam. So it is something amazing in Sanskrit. It's very interesting always to see how over thousands of years the meanings in the different local languages have slightly changed. So now, this is after all our Sanskrit class. We also have to remind you of sandhis once in a while. Just a question to everyone. Do you remember the sandhi Radha and Ishvara? Anyone?
Radheshwara.
Radheshwara. What about Manushya? Manushyaha followed by Devaha. Manushyaha followed by Devaha. This was what we called the Namo Namaha rule, if you remember. Manushyo Devaha. So when Visarga, aha, is followed by a soft consonant, it always becomes O. And what about Purusha and Uttama? Purushottama. Very good. So in this way, it is important that you practice the Sandhi again and again. Today I sent you through Himaji a chart of 3 new ways of cases for the words ending, here we go, for the words ending in long A and long E. So I just want to open this for you here. I have learned to share my screen. So share. So this is what you already learned. This is Rama. Here you find the first case. Do you see my mouse when I go like this? No?
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you see it. Okay, good. So this is the first case. And then here you have Rama in the singular, Ramo in the dual, Dvivachana means 2 Ramas. If there are 2 people called Rama, then it means Ramo. And many Ramas, if there is many Ramas, then we call it Ramaha. So this you have all learnt. And you see, this is of course a class, and I absolutely understand that not everyone is always attending, but I have to continue, you see, further on for those who have been attending regularly. And I understand, of course, that this will mean that the class becomes smaller because for some people it becomes more difficult. That's a natural effect. In all my Sanskrit classes, they always begin with a large group and then they become smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And in some of my classes, I'm the only person who remains in the class. So, and then I still continue. No, I don't. So don't worry about that. But we have to move on because otherwise, you see, it will be like then I will just explain the same things forever, isn't it? And that's also not fair to those who have attended a lot. So I understand that there must be some of you now who still don't know what Ramanam is. I understand that. Ramanam is the 6th case Bahuvachana. The 6th case plural. 6th case is genitive. It means of. Ram, ka. And if there are many, it means of the many Ramas. Rameshu means in the many Ramas. So we have covered Rama. Now we need to go to the feminine words. A good example to use is Radha. And here you will see we have the same 7 cases, but it's slightly different now. In the first case, there is no visarga. Radha is just as we know the word, Radha. Similarly, Devika does not become Devikaha. It is just Devika. And then in the dual, if there are 2 Radhas, it becomes Radhe. And this is interesting because Radhe is also when we say He Radhe, or we say Radhe Radhe. And that is a different form. That is when we address someone. It is called vocative or sambodhana. But this is not that Radhe. This actually means 2 Radhas here. And then in the plural, if there are many Radhas, it is Radha. Then the second case is easier to recognize for those of you who now have learned Ramam already, because the second case mostly ends with M for most words, but not all. But for most Sanskrit words, it ends with M. So it is easy to recognize, right? Radham, this must be second case, right? If you don't know it by heart. But then, in the dual, dvivachana, it is also Radhe in the second case. And here it is really different from Rama. Rama in the second case plural becomes Raman with N, and that is easy to recognize in a sentence. But Radha stays Radha, like in the first case. So you have to know from the context whether it is first case or it is second case. Not so easy. Then third case is totally different. In Rama, the first case was Ramena. So those of you who have learnt it, Devena, Ramena, Krishnena, Vidyabhaskarena, etc. for a-ending words, masculine ones. But in feminine, it's totally different. Radhaya is not like Ramaya. This is a short a. And here it becomes very important to pronounce Sanskrit properly. This is a short a. It is not Radhaya. It is Radhaya. Radhaya. Similarly, Devika would be Devikaya. Devikaya, not Devikaya. It is Devikaya. You have to pronounce this properly. Or Tripura would be Tripuraya. Yes? So the long A of the word is dropped. The long A of Radha is dropped and it's replaced by Aya. Aya. So Radhaya. Radhaya. And of course now the question is, as Sanskrit students, how do you want to learn this now? Those who are very diligent, they would learn all this by heart, as we did when we were young. So I always brag, of course bragging is a very bad quality, but I always brag that these vibhaktis, we call them vibhaktis. Vibhakti means conjugate declinations. They come to us in our dreams. So we can do this in our dreams. Radha, Radhe, Radha, Radham, Radhe, Radha, Radhe, Radham, Yam, Radhami, Radha. It comes in the dream. We don't have to know this. You see, it's just right there. But this is because we learned it as children. Now, you are no longer children, although some of you might be and some of you might think you are, but most of you are not. So, of course, the question is, how do you want to learn this? And the best strategy is perhaps the fridge strategy. If you print this out and you keep it on your fridge, there will be two benefits. First of all, three benefits. First of all, you will see it every day, at least when you open the fridge to get milk or whatever you eat. If you're vegan, maybe soya milk, at least you will see it every day, right, on the fridge. And then you will sort of Radhaya, okay. The second benefit is people who come to your home after COVID is over, if you still have friends, people who come to your home, they will be impressed by you because they will see something that looks very complicated and special on your fridge. So they will think, oh, they must be they've used their time in COVID really specially. They've used their time well. And your friends will feel ashamed and they might also go and learn some Sanskrit. Or at least if they don't, they will be impressed by you, right? So that's one of the positive side effects of Sanskrit is always, no matter which culture you are in, whether you are in Indian culture, you are in Buddhist culture, or you are in European culture, if you know Sanskrit, people will always be a little impressed by you. So that's the second benefit. Oh, wow, she's learning Sanskrit. Ooh. Right? So, and the third benefit is that you will remember Radha. Right? So you just have to remember Radha if you see her name, isn't it? It would be strange if you don't remember her and you see her name. But that's okay. So you see, these are the three benefits. Now it's up to you to choose which benefit is the greatest. Yes, so Radhaya is the third case. And then Radhabhyam. And now you will see something interesting. In the third case, instrumental. Fourth case, ablative, like Namah Shivaya in the masculine. Fifth case, the dual is always the same. Radhabhyam, Radhabhyam, and Radhabhyam. So you have to see from the context what the meaning is. And now also in the third case, if you go back to Ramaha, it is Ramehi, totally different in the plural. Devaihi. Here it is Radhabhihi, Radhabhihi. And then fourth case, to those who don't remember the meanings of the cases, fourth case is to whom, to Radha, Namo Radhaye, Namaha to Radha. So this is Shivaya in the masculine, and in the feminine it is Radhaye. So Devika Ye. And those of you who are spiritual or religious, you might remember this one from Namastasyai, Namastasyai. This is this form, the Yay form. Okay? So whenever you see Yay, you remember, this is the fourth case, ablative. Sorry, not ablative, dative. And then in the plural, dual is the same as in the third case, but in the plural it is Radhabhyah. And then the fifth and the sixth case are the same. This is a simple rule to remember. In feminine words, fifth and sixth case, the ablative and genitive are always the same. Whereas in masculine words, if you go back, they are not. Ramat and Ramasya are not the same. Whereas in all feminine words, they are the same, no matter which one. But only in the singular. In the dual, fifth case is Radhabhyam and plural is the same as in the fourth case. So again, you have to see it from context. Then sixth case, Radhayaha, like the fifth case. And then Radhayoho. And then Radhanam. This is the only one that is really similar to the masculine forms. If you look at Ramanam, Radhanam is very similar. And then seventh case, totally different again. If you look at Rama, is Rame, whereas Radha is Radhayam. And this one, my dears, is sometimes for beginners, they confuse this one with the second case because it ends in M. So they think Radhayam is second case. So here you have to remember when there is yam in the word, no, it is then seventh case. Radhayoho and then Radhasu is the plural. So just a quick check that I haven't lost you. What is the meaning of Radhasu? Anyone?
In lots of Radhas.
Very good. Yes, exactly. And Devikaji, can you think of a word? Now, Radha is a name, right? Radha is a person. These are just the forms with which we learn these by heart. In many Radhas doesn't make that much sense. Can you think of a Sanskrit word ending in a long R? Anyone?
So, basically, Radha Su means like in whom or like in what or where. So we can attribute where Radha's.
Yes, in the Radhas. That's why I'm asking for a different Sanskrit word so that.
Like Varshaha, if we say that.
No, but Varshaha is not an A ending word. Varshaha is a short A. Varshaha is like Ramaha.
Oh, so we are just adding to make it plural, right? Okay, so it's not A.
Yes. No, here we are now talking about words which end in A, such as Radha. Now, someone has posted Nasa. Nasa, right? Nasa is the nose. So, Nasayam means in the nose. Nasasu means in the noses. Now, Radhika ji writes, Maya. Yes, very good. Maya means illusion. And
Abhyasa.
so if we want to say in the illusions, what would we say?
Asu.
Mayayam.
That would be one illusion.
Mayasu.
Yes?
Mayasu.
Mayasu. But very good, Mahalakshmi ji. Mayayam would be in the one delusion. So, Vayam means we, Sarve, Vayam Sarve, Mayayam. Smaha. We are all in illusion, right? Very good. Can you think of another with long R from your mother tongues? You know so many. Very often you just have to think of an Indian lady's name.
Danta.
No, but dantah is a short A at the end, not a long R.
Chitra.
Sri-
Sorry?
Sujata.
Sujata, exactly. So Sujata means well-born. Sujatayam means in Sujata. Bahu gunaha santi. There are many gunas, for instance.
Sarita.
Then someone says Lalita, exactly. So if we want to say Namo and we want to say to Lalita, madam, what would you say? Namo? You have to use the fourth case.
Lalitayai.
Exactly. Namo Lalitaye. Exactly. Apurva. So many examples. Shivaya is not an example, my dear. Shivaya is from the word Shiva with a short A, like Rama, and is this form. The fourth case of Shiva is Shivaya. So this is not a word ending in a long A. And Abharya, etc. So many examples. Shilpa is another one, right? Shilpa. And then we have Namah Shilpayai or Shilpayam.
Sita.
Sita, right? Now slowly you're getting it, right? It's
Sarita.
Sarita, Sandhya, Asha, Nanda. Manda. Manda with a long R would be someone who is slow, someone who is not so intelligent. My dear sir, I hope you haven't named anyone with that name, because Manda is not a very nice word. But I know that sometimes people name themselves or their children with Sanskrit words that look fancy, but actually mean something totally strange. So Manda means Manda Buddhi, right? So Manda. But yes, Nanda. Very good. Okay, so again, I'm not expecting you to know this by heart. Although if you are very diligent and you want to really do something useful with your mind, you could learn it by heart. Why not? I mean, Amar can do it. Why not you? My oldest Sanskrit student, who was 82, could do it. Why not you? It's really your choice. Radha Radhe Radha, Radham Radhe Radha, Radhaya Radhabhyam Radhabhihi, Radhayai Radhabhyam Radhabhyah, Radhayah Radhabhyam Radhabhyah, Radhayah Radhayoho Radhanam, Radhayam Radhayoho Radhasu. It's also a sadhana. You're constantly thinking of Radha when you do it. But I'm not expecting you to learn it by heart. What I do wish is that you begin to be able to recognize, oh, this could be a case of an ah ending feminine word. Let me check my chart on the fridge. Yeah? So that's what you have to start doing. And I also sent you, I won't go through each one in detail now. I also sent it to you for the word Devi. And here it is similar as with Radha, but little different again. And most Sanskrit feminine words end either in A or in E. So with these two, you have them. You see? That means you have covered a lot. Yes? Devi, Devyau, Devyah, Devim, Devyau, Devihi, Devya, Devibhyam, Devibhihi, Devyai, Devibhyam, Devibhyah, Devyah, Devibhyam, Devibhyah, Devyah, Devyoho, Devinam, Devyam, Devyoho, Devishu. So, I'm sure you can think of so many words ending with E. Mahalakshmi, for instance, and many, many more. You can practice with these words. Now we will go to our story for today.
Just one doubt.
Please, yes.
You said like feminine words end with A and E, right? So in that way, if I say Veda, that becomes the feminine?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So sometimes I used to call my son as Veda, so I think I should change that to Ved then.
Yeah, yes, that's okay. But you call him Veda in the sense of like as a nickname.
Yeah, sort of like, yeah.
That's okay. In Panini's grammar, when you are addressing someone whose name ends in a short A, when you are addressing them in Sambodhana means vocative. He Veda. Then in Panini's grammar, you are allowed to use a long A.
Oh, okay. All right.
So Panini calls this Pluta. So Hrasva Dirgha Pluta. You can not just Dirgha, even Pluta. Pluta is a longer form even than Dirgha. Dirgha means long and Pluta means really long. So you can say Veda Agacha. No problem. That's okay.
So it has to end with aha. I mean that the Visarga has to be there. Vedaha.
No. You misunderstood. Okay. So I think we have to go back to basics here. Where is that? Share my screen. Okay. So here, the word is Rama. The word is Rama, not Ramaha. Ramaha is the first case.
First case, right. Okay.
Okay? But the word is Rama.
Okay.
Rama. Not Ram. Ram is the Hindi pronunciation.
Oh.
In Sanskrit, there is always the ma. And it's very simple to demonstrate this to you. If you read this properly, what is it here? Rama. This is not, this ma does not have the line below, right?
True.
So it is Rama.
Full pronunciation.
Full pronunciation in Sanskrit. So similarly, your son's name is Vedanta, not really Vedant. But that's okay. That's Hindi, no problem. So it is Vedanta. That is the word, and in the first case, it is Vedanta. But if you shorten your son's name to Veda, and then you call him Veda, that's fine, no problem.
Rama, like that. Okay, Veda. Oh yes. Okay, right. Okay, so it is still ending with the Visarga, isn't it? But that becomes
no. Then if you end it with Visarga, then it means many Vedas. Then somehow the nickname makes no sense.
No, yeah. So it's just Veda then.
Veda, yes, because this form
and Sambodhan, right?
In Sambodhana stays like this.
Right. Okay. Veda. Right.
So you can say Veda. Yes.
Thank you.
No problem. So now, yeah. Please.
Yeah. Just had a couple of questions. Thank you. One is, if it's a masculine word ending in E, then would there be a new chart? Would there be another chart then?
A masculine ending in E. Now you see, there are only feminine words ending in long E, and there are masculine words ending in short I, such as Hari is a very famous one. It ends in a short I. And slowly, with time, I'm going to bring all the ways to decline these words. Today, we have only done 2 additional ones, A ending and E ending feminine ones.
So there would be more charts for each ending.
Oh, yes, my dear, there will be so many charts that you will think you're a mathematician. So,
and do you have any?
yeah.
I know you learned all this as a child, and that's different. As an adult, have you come across any helpful hints or ways of remembering these other than just memorizing, like rote learning? Is there any patterns or anything?
I have to be very honest. I don't know. Other than just learning them, I don't know. And of course, practicing always. So I have a student, two students who have no Indian background, but who have been practicing for 3 years. And we don't do that much. We do the same like we are doing now. We do every 2 weeks. But within 3 years, they really now are quite fluent. So we are reading Ramayana now in that other group. They are senior students. We are studying Ramayana, and most of the time they are quite comfortable now in identifying the cases. So, and they haven't, and they are also, older, I think 40 or something, Ilavati, 45, something like that. So they weren't children when we started. They were already older. So I think it's also just practicing again and again, because you see, these cases, they're not endless. At some point you will recognize the pattern. At some point, it's not going to be endless. Yes?
Thank you.
So I think the best way is just practice.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here we have a small story. Put it here and make it larger. For you all. And I'll share the screen. Okay. Right, can you all see this story? So now we will go very systematically. You remember the cases. Now I have an idea. If I'm capable of doing this, then we could put the cases, next to this text. So then you can sort of find the right case yourself. This is cheating, of course, but now we are learning. So we start with the first sentence. Manushya Shri Radham Sharirasya Netrabhyam Na Pashyati. Let's go very systematically, word by word. You just tell me the cases. The first word is Manushya.
1-1.
It is 1-1, right? It is the first case, singular, like Rama, Manushya. And what is the meaning of the word Manushya?
Human.
Person.
A person or the human being, yes. Then we have, the second word is Shri Radham.
2-1.
So now here we have the second case, and again singular. 2-1. Radham, you can see here. So then if you are very meticulous, you will write on top like this. Here you will write. Oh, I wanted to write something. Yeah. So here you would write 1. It's not easy to write like this, but 1-1, and here you would write 2-1. So you know that this is the second case, and this 1 means singular. There's only one Radha being talked about. And then you find the... Sorry, now I'm messing this up here. Oh dear. I'm not so tech savvy. One moment. I lost the text. So this was the chart, and then here was the... No. Sorry about this. Yeah, this was the story, and here is the chart. Okay, now we are back. Yeah. So, so Radha is 2-1. Now my writing has moved. I'm sorry. You have to move the document again a little bit. Or I will erase my writing. Yeah. Okay. So now, my dears, sharirasya is the next word. Right? Sharirasya. So now we would have to go back to this chart. Which one does it correspond to?
6.
6. And then here, 1. Very good. So it is genitive singular. And just a question, how do we use the genitive? What is the meaning of the genitive? 6th case?
Of what?
Belonging.
Of. Right? Very good. Belonging. And the word is sharirasya. Sharirasya. And
Of the body.
Of the body. Very good. So, and now the next word is netrabhyam.
Yeah.
Which word in the chart does it look most like? Netrabhyam.
3, 4, or 5.
It could be 3rd case, it could be 4th case, or it could be 5th case. Dual.
Yeah.
And netra means eye. Yeah. So then, sharirasya netrabhyam. So now when we don't know the case yet fully, we have to say, all right, it can be one of these 3 cases. Let us wait for a moment and see the context. This is how Sanskrit works. And then you see the word na pashyati. Do you remember the verb pashyati? Anyone?
Seeing.
To see, and na means?
Not seeing.
Not seeing, right? Now we have covered the whole sentence. So we have manushya, shriradham, sharirasya, netrabhyam, na pashyati. Now, what do you think is the case of netrabhyam? The 3rd case, instrumental, means with. So this would mean with the eyes. The 4th case means to the eyes. And the 5th case means from the eyes. What makes...
With eyes.
See.
So which case is it?
Human.
3rd case, right? It's the 3rd case, but dual. Yeah? Dual.
Yeah.
Because there are 2 eyes. Most people have 2 eyes, not all. Some have 3. Well, all of us have 3, but only with some of them, the 3rd one is also active. So netrabhyam, and then napashyati, does not see. Now, when we see napashyati, does not see, what, I know this is kindergarten, we're very detailed. We ask automatically, who is the person napashyati? And then, which case do we have to look for in the sentence?
1.
The 1. We have to look which word was 1. Right? I'm not so used to this yet.
I.
And
Netra. I.
no.
Radha.
Which word was in the 1 case? Manushya. Manushya. So it means the subject of the sentence is manushya na pashyati. This is the main statement. The human na pashyati, does not see. Then we ask the question, does not see what?
Not see the Radha.
Exactly. And the what is answered by the 2nd case, which is Shri Radham. So then we have Manushya, Shri Radham na pashyati. Yeah? And then we ask,
what can't he see?
not what, but that is Radha, but that we already covered. Then we ask the question, how?
Oh.
And that is the 3rd case. And then the answer is with the eyes. Right? Netrabhyam. And then there is an additional detail, maybe whose netrabhyam, and then it is sharirasya netrabhyam. With the eyes
Of body.
of the body.
Okay.
So now we've gone very detailed. Would someone like to try the translation of this sentence?
A person cannot see Radha with the eyes that we have in our body. Like
Very
in the
good.
body.
Yeah, very good. Excellent. So a person does not see Sri Radha with the eyes of the body. Very good. Next sentence. Kintu Sri Radha sada hridaye vasati. Kintu you might know from your mother tongues. Anyone? However or but. Yes? Kintu. And now Sri Radha is in which case if you look at the chart?
1-1.
1-1. Because there's no other word that only ends in Radha here. The only form is this one. This is the only form. Oh, sorry, I'm putting this text box here. Sorry, this one. It's the only form, the first case is the only one that ends in A. So then you know this is the 1-1. And Sada you might know from your mother tongues.
Always.
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 Very good. And now Hridaye
That would be 7-1.
has to be
Seven.
7-1. Seventh case. Right? And the word is
Hriday.
Hridaya, and Hridaya means
Heart.
heart. So then Hridaye means
In heart.
Within the heart.
in the heart.
In
And
the heart.
Vasati is the verb. Like Pashyati is the verb, Vasati is the verb. Does anyone remember we had sent out verb lists what Vasati means? To live.
Lives.
To live. Now we have done the whole sentence. So now who would like to try the translation?
But Radha always
However.
in the heart. Sri
Yes.
Radha always lives in the heart.
Yes. But or however, Sri Radha always lives in the heart. Very good. I hope everyone's following. Then, next sentence. Dhyanena manushya chitte devim anubhavati. So first we begin with the first word. We don't jump to meanings in Sanskrit. We go very precise. We go to the first word. What case does it most resemble?
3-1.
The 3-1, the third case. Ramena dhyanena. And thus it means, from which word is it the third case? Dhyana.
Dhan.
With
Dhyana means to
attention.
meditate, right? Meditation or attention. So then dhyanena means?
When in meditation.
It means with meditation or through meditation. Yeah, it's the instrumental with or through. And then we have manushya again, which is like before.
1-1.
1-1. So that means now manushya is again the subject of the sentence. And then we have chitte,
7-1.
7-1.
again 7-1. And chitta, anyone? Any idea?
Heart again? Chitta?
Mind.
Chitta means the mind or consciousness. Yes, the mind. And then we have now devim. So now you see here
2-1.
2-1. Right? Devim. And then we have the verb anubhavati.
Experience.
To experience. So he or she experiences. Now you have the whole sentence. Who would like to try the translation?
The human experiences the goddess with meditation in the mind.
In the mind, yes. So, or maybe in this sequence, the human experiences the goddess in the mind through meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. Then we have the next sentence. Devya lakshanam kim asti. Now, lakshanam, we haven't covered the declination yet. This we will introduce next time. It is like Phalam. It is a neuter word. So far you have learned masculine and feminine. It is a neuter, and I'll tell you here now, it is 1-1. I didn't remember to send you that list also. But first we begin with Devyah. Which case?
Oh, it can be 6-1 or it can be 5-1.
Very good. It can be, yes, very good. It can be the 5th case or the 6th case. So again, we have to see context. Lakshanam is the first case, 1-1, Phalam. Does anyone know the meaning of Lakshanam from their mother tongue?
Qualities.
The quality or the characteristic. And Kim, if you are, Kim is the word for what?
What?
Like Tava Nama, Kim, etc. we did with the children. And now Devyah Lakshanam Kim Asti. Asti is the verb, means is. Who would like to? Now, Devyah Lakshanam, what would be the connection?
What
What
quality?
is the qualities of?
Yes, very good.
What
Nutan
are
Ben.
qualities?
So Devyah would be then the 6th case, right? Of Devi. Not from her, but of. What is the quality of Devi? Of the goddess? And then the answer is quite simple. Satyam, Chaitanyam, Ananda, Cha. Does anyone remember the meaning of Cha?
And.
Means and, yes. So, Satyam means you must know, right? Truth.
Truthful, truth,
Truth. Chaitanyam, consciousness. Ananda,
Happiness.
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 Yeah.
So the answer, and the cha comes at the very end, because Sanskrit is very practical in this regard. If you want to make a list of things, you don't have to always say Satyam cha, Chaitanyam cha, Ananda cha. You can just say Satyam, Chaitanyam, Ananda cha. You can just put the and at the very end, and then it's clear that it is a list. And now we have one new thing, and then we will soon finish. The combination of 2 words, yada, tada. Yada and tada. Most of you know the very famous shloka from the Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tada atmanam srijamyaham. Krishna says that whenever there is adharma in the world rising, then I manifest myself, or I create myself, rather, he says. Yada is the Hindi jab. Tada is the Hindi tab. Jab ye hota hai tab. Jab tab. Yada tada. So, yada hridaye anandam anubhavati tada devim anubhavati. Now, all the other words we have already covered the cases above, so it should be quite easy now for you to translate this.
When the heart experiences
Happiness.
happiness, then they will.
Whenever the heart experiences the happiness, then we experience the Devi, goddess Devi.
Yes, almost 90% marks, almost. It is not whenever the heart, rather it is whenever in the heart.
In the heart.
Yeah? So you have to look at the case very specifically. If you look at hridaye, it is an A, right? So it is like this Rame, 7th case. And then now the question would be, who is now the subject of this sentence? Because strangely, there is no subject now. There is no one here who is the subject, but who?
Hridaye is
Manushya.
Manushya. Very good. Someone said it. The subject is Manushya. And we just take that from before, because the last one was Dhyanena Manushya Chitte Devim Anubhavati. We said that through meditation, the human experiences Devi in the heart or in the mind. And then Devyah Lakshanam Kim Asti, what is the quality of Devi? Satyam Chaitanyam Ananda Cha. And then when there is no further subject, it is logical. It must be talking about Manushya. Yes, so when he or she, or when one, in English we might say one, when one experiences Ananda in the heart, and Ananda is which case? Like Ramam.
2-1.
2-1. When one experiences Yada Anubhavati Anandam in the heart, Hridaye, Tada Devim Anubhavati. Very good. This is quite good Sanskrit already that you have learned, all of you. I hope that everyone is able to follow a little bit. Yes, we will continue a little bit on this level, but next time we will bring Palam, Pale, Palani, the neuter forms as well. And slowly, slowly, we will go deeper and deeper. Those of you who think that we don't have such a good structure, I agree. The structure always seems to be a little bit tipsy-turvy, helter-skelter, but I can tell you that it is a well-tested structure. This is how I have taught all my students Sanskrit. Not going exactly with very specific steps, but bringing together different parts that are essential. And suddenly, if you come here again and again, and if you're also practicing a little bit at home, suddenly you will realize, wow, we are actually now translating complicated Sanskrit. Yes? So then suddenly you will see it is like pieces of a puzzle coming together, and you actually will be able to understand a lot of Sanskrit suddenly. You know, so now initially it's a little bit hazy, but suddenly it will be, wow, now I can understand so much. Yada yada hi dharmasya. Oh, I know yada, I know dharmasya, right? So you start to identify more and more words, and then suddenly you will realize that this class was worth it. But you do have to look at these charts a little bit, at least on your fridge, my dears. Next time I come to UK, I really want to see them on your fridge. At least the night before I arrive, you should print them out. Yeah? So, all right, so let's finish here. Sarvesham svastir bhavatu, sarvesham shantir bhavatu, sarvesham purnam bhavatu, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu, sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet. And you remember bhavantu means may they be. Santu is the same form for asti in the plural, santi, but then santu, may they be. Niramayah, free from illnesses, free from troubles. May all be free from troubles. Sarve santu niramayah. Hari Om Tat Sat, and wishing you all a great Sunday. See you soon. Please practice at home. Practice with your puja texts. Practice with your mantras. Even the Gita you can take up and you can start identifying cases. Ending, ending, E ending ones you have now. Hari Om.
Thank you. Acharya ji, just one quick doubt before.
Yes, sure.
Last time when I asked about why do we say 3 times Shanti, 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 you explained that physical obstacles, inner obstacles, and innermost obstacles.
Spiritual obstacles.
Yeah,
Yes.
spiritual. But what was the third one? Innermost spiritual obstacles?
So in modern language, we would say the outer obstacles, they're really obstacles of nature, of other people, of the body. Then inner obstacles are, nowadays we would say psychological obstacles, or in ancient times they would say obstacles related to subtle beings, astrological influences, grahas, and these things. But nowadays, to summarize that, we would call that psychological obstacles, isn't it? Because when someone is psychologically not well, in ancient times they would say this is the stars or the planets. Nowadays we say it is psychology, and the truth is it's both, isn't it? So
is it the karma, we will say, the previous birth's karma?
Deva, yes, the previous karmas as well, exactly. And then the innermost is the adhyatmika obstacles that is related to our spiritual development, our moksha orientation. So some people never develop the desire for moksha or liberation in their whole life. And that's a huge obstacle, even though they might be born and brought up in a dharmic context, but they never develop that desire, that wish, or even that question: could I be liberated? Could I become like Buddha? Could I be like Krishna? Could I become liberated? Isn't it? So that is an obstacle, we call that adhyatmika obstacle, but it's also related to obstacles where people are actually beginning to practice sadhana, but then suddenly they say, oh, my back is hurting, and they come up with all kinds of excuses not to practice sadhana. Or they say, oh, I should better use this time for something else. So all kinds of reasons come up why not to practice meditation or sadhana. That is adhyatmika vigna, adhyatmika obstacle.
Great. Just one more there. Thank you so much for that. When we started off sadhana and we feel that, okay, we want moksha, and then suddenly after some time, we get distracted and then we start feeling, oh, I think, yeah, this next birth is not bad thing.
That is adhyatmika obstacle.
That is the spiritual, the innermost obstacle.
Absolutely, yes. Or some people, they encounter their guru for the first time, or they have some experience with the divinity even, or with the deep meditative immersion, and then they feel first that now I'm on the path. Now I will never leave this path. I'm on the path, but then a month later it's gone. And then they want that experience again, and they think that to have that experience again is the only goal they have. And because they can't get that experience again, the mind sort of goes into a bad mood. And that is totally the innermost obstacle. Because you see, to have a spiritual experience is one thing. To walk the spiritual path is another thing. To walk the spiritual path is not just about reproducing some experience we had in the past.
So when this kind of experience happens, that okay, like when we are actually distracted or derailed from the path of that liberation thing, why does this happen? If you can briefly tell me. I know this is a big topic.
It's a very, very big topic. First of all, it is through karmas. More subtle, it is through karma vayus. These are energies of the karmas that are flowing in our subtle being. So we might have some punya that opens up, and then we have a deeper understanding, a deeper consciousness, but then a karma vayu, an energy of karma comes up, and suddenly we are confused again, suddenly we are deluded again, we are depressed again, or we have some distraction going into a different direction. But essentially it is karmas, and it is lack of concentration, lack of dedication, lack of commitment, really. These are the two best explanations.
Okay. It's somewhere the sincerity is reduced.
Sincerity is missing. Yes.
Surfaced.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much, Ajay.
Thank you. All the best to everyone.